Here we are then, round number 2 of the Williams Road to Glory here in Season 2, of course, as we arrive at the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is of course the race that happened today. And when this video goes out, the real life race would have already happened, so hopefully it was a banger. Hopefully, we got a really good race, and fingers crossed Mercedes didn't win, because I want something different now, so hopefully that happened. But today we're doing our own version, of course, with the 2021 mod, and yeah, we're here today for round 2, and after a decent first race in Australia, if you haven't seen it, I'll leave it linked up in the top right. We're going to try and have a decent weekend here in Bahrain, so let's jump into it. If you guys are going to enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe for more, and let's see what happens here in Bahrain. So here we are then, back on the main menu, and as you can see, looking at the weather forecast, we have no rain expected, which is great news, of course, here at Bahrain. We look at the performance chart, and Ferrari brings some upgrades here to round 2. Besides that, no real changes, and the progression chart stays largely unchanged after round 1 in Australia. So yeah, we've got some upgrades of our own on the way for the next race, and it's going to be 2 minor upgrades for the aerodynamics. We'll hopefully add some more in this episode here today, so stay tuned for that. But as always, we jump into practice, and we're going to get the session underway and see how the car feels around here. Now, I don't really have a good setup for this track, so I actually loaded up a modified version of one of my Paul Ricard setups, and it actually worked really well. So pretty much we're running a French Grand Prix setup on this car from my league racing, and it seemed to give the car a good balance. It was very stable, very consistent, no big understeer or oversteer, just a nice base to work with, and I actually felt quite optimistic heading to qualifying that we had a good car. We scored almost 700 R&D points after practice, so that's going to go towards the total as we're closing up to about 900 points, and then some very small gains on the acclaim where hopefully we're going to hit level 12, whether it's after qualifying or after the race. It shouldn't take too long. And with that, we move into Q1 here in qualifying at Bahrain. Now, what I will say about this session, which was a bit of an anomaly, was my best lap was actually my first one, which is something that doesn't usually happen. Normally the banker, and then we go for like a fast lap afterwards, but to my surprise, we really nailed this first lap. So you can see here we're currently warming up, getting ready for the lap. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the engine sounds of this one, and you can kind of compare it to real life to see what the pace is like, and I'll get back to you guys when the lap is over. So here you go, a full lap of Bahrain, and we're going to see if it's enough to get us out of Q1. There we go, across the line, and we go P8 ahead of George Russell and Romain Grosjean, just behind Ocon and Vettel. So not too bad. We went for a second lap. I was currently P15 on the bubble and on the cutoff for the elimination zone, and I just wasn't really able to improve. You can see here I actually ended the lap just a fraction off. All 3 sectors red. I just didn't really hook it up as good as the first lap, and that was our final attempt, and unfortunately we got pushed out right at the last minute. So that is going to be it for qualifying. We tried our best, but I got caught out a little bit, and also for some reason I just wasn't able to go faster on my second run. We out-qualified George Russell, which is good, and we just miss out. But again, it goes to show how much the car has improved, because we almost both cars got out of Q1, which would have been a big improvement. So, you know what, it's not too shabby. Hopefully we'll turn it around in the race. I feel like we've got a good race car, so there's reasons to be optimistic. But that is over Q1 and qualifying here today. And before we jump into the race, we're going to look at the rivalry, of course, with Alex Albon. And that's the new rivalry now, so we'll see how that goes. And also, we do gain some very small bits in terms of driver acclaim, but not quite level 12, as we now going to move into the race here. And hopefully we can try and turn this around.
The stage is set for another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Alexander Albon, and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Vettel, Perez, and Carlos Sainz. Norris, Kvyat, Lance Stroll, and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Martinez, George Russell, and Nobuharu Matsushita. Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Well then, here we are then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We start from P16 on the grid, so we've got a bit of work to do, and I feel like we can definitely score some points today. I think that is on the table. The car feels really, really good, so I'm feeling quite optimistic about this race, and I feel like if we can score points today, that would be a big turning point in terms of, you know, this series so far, because Bahrain is often the race where you can tell if you're actually fast or not, because, you know, it's one of the harder tracks to score points at with 110 AI. So if we can do that today, that's going to be a big positive sign for us heading into the next few races. And in terms of the strategy to try and achieve those points, we're going to obviously one stop. We're going to start in mediums, move to the hard tyre. It's going to be very close and very marginal for tyre wear, but hopefully we can pull it off and make it work. Fuel wise, I'm over fueling by 1 lap, so we're not too heavy but not too light, and of course no rain expected here in the middle of the desert. With that said though, let's jump into the action and let's see if we can make it 2 points finishes out of 2 in 2021. Here we go then, the lights are on. Let's get those RPMs up into the sweet spot. Quick 5 lights and we're underway. Oh, it's a good start, really good start. The first phase was great, second phase not so good, but that's okay. We're going to try and have a look down the inside here and make it 3 wide. It's going to be tight. I'm all over the curb. We've got to be a little bit cautious. We're still 3 wide here. We're going to go the long way round. Can we make it work? Side by side with Ocon here in the Renault Alpine. Up the inside we go into turn 4 on the brakes. And there we go. We made it work. Great start from us. Looks like everybody else around us is also on medium tyres. So that's good to know in terms of strategy that we're on a similar one all round. But that's a good start from us, gaining a couple of places off the line. Really, really good. And something that I haven't done in a while, actually. My starts haven't been that great. So that's good news for us. Let's see if we can now set into the race. See if we've got some good race pace on these tyres. I feel pretty confident. Car has felt good all weekend. And I'm hoping that we can, you know, use that good feeling to good effect. But for now, it's looking like we're pretty racy on lap 1. Trying to put a bit of pressure on Lance Stroll here. I don't think we're going to pass him just yet. The AI, as you guys know, run full ERS power on the first 2 laps. So the race will open up a little bit on lap 3, I think. But I'll tell you what, we're actually getting pretty close to Lance. I feel like I'm going to try and challenge him. So we're going to just wait until the final corner. Try and set up an exit out of here if possible. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. That is on the money. That is perfect. Stroll out of ERS. And there we go, that's going to make it nice and easy for us to actually get alongside him. Now we've just got to try and outbrake him. without going too deep because obviously there's cars ahead. But there we go, down the inside into turn 1, and we're through and up into P13. So that is going to put the icing on the cake for a decent first lap there. And we're now P13 in this race. Yellow flag up ahead. Looks like it's one of the cars in front of us. It's a Ferrari. It's Charles Leclerc.
The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the Delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty.
Well, I think it's, yeah, it's too early to pit, so there's no point, you know, pitting now. It's only lap 3. It's just going to make the strategy a bit easier. So we're getting to the end of these tyres, and then the hards later on will be a lot more simple. So the one stop is definitely going to be the better option. The question is, will anybody out front on the soft tyres be tempted to pit now? We'll see. Okay, quite a few cars actually peeling off into the pit lane. I'm trying to stick to the Delta here. But there we go, a lot of the cars are in the pit lane. So we're now up to P4 in this race, and we're on the better strategy, I think. So this could be very interesting. This could be a great way for us to get points. Russell will also benefit from this, so this is very good for our race. I'm not going to complain about this one bit. Oh wow, Bottas is out as well. Okay, a double retirement already on lap 18, and that's one of the big boys. Valtteri Bottas out of the race already. That's big for the championship. Safety car in this lap. Here we go then. Restart will be key. Trying to get those gears right. Tyres are in the right temperature window. Feel like I want to get past Lando here straight away. Here we go.
The track is clear. Green flag.
Try and tuck into the slipstream. Can we get a move on Lando here? No, we can't. Lando actually goes for a move on Kvyat. I'm going to try and get the car back. Yellow flag further back. Kvyat has a poor exit. We're going to use that to try and squeeze through here. Get the run up to turn 4. The AlphaTauri pretty quick on the straight. Down the inside though, on Kvyat we go. And we're through. Oh, that's a bit dangerous. Going to close the door on Kvyat a little bit there. Don't want him to come back through, but that was a bit of a scary one. Overtake there, just a bit too early, losing the back end. Right, let's try and stick with Lando here, and then we'll be the lead driver on medium tyres, which could be massive for us in terms of strategy this race. Just trying to stay within 1 second of Lando Norris here.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
We've managed to drop Stroll, so he can't keep up with Kvyat. And now I'm trying to just stay within 1 second of Lando. The AI should stop running ERS now on this lap. Looks like I haven't actually got DRS, which is surprising. I thought I would have had it there, but looks like we're going to have to try and close the gap a little bit more. Kvyat lurking behind, looking dangerous. Hamilton pits. Kvyat within range here. This might be a tricky one. I'm going to have to use a bit of ERS to defend, but I haven't got much left anyway. Kvyat down the inside into turn 1. We managed to keep him behind for now. Feels like the AlphaTauri is a bit quicker though. I don't really have much pace at the minute. I mean, it's not too bad, but I don't have enough to chase Lando. I needed to be within 1 second, and I kind of messed that up, so we'll see. I'm going to try and hold on for now. Here comes Kvyat again. I am quite happy actually to maybe let him go and see if he can drag me towards Lando here. So I'm going to let Kvyat go through without obviously giving too much time away to Stroll behind. And we're going to see if maybe Kvyat can kind of drag us back towards Lando Norris before he gets away too far. Well, so far it's not really working. We're pulling away from the cars behind, which is good. Ocon has overtaken Stroll, and they're both dropping back. So, you know, we're all pulling away at the minute, us front 3, but Norris has got some very strong pace in that McLaren. We can't really match that right now. So for now, I'm just going to try and stick with Kvyat really and stay within DRS. I'm also saving a fair amount of ERS behind him as well. So this is working out okay for me. This is going to help my race big time. Okay, so this was meant to be the original pit stop lap. You can see the tyre wear indicator in the bottom right is yellow, so tyre wear kicking in. Kvyat and Norris are going to pit, so I'm going to join them. May as well play it safe, and this should help us out quite a lot. If I can stick with Kvyat, he's going to drag us to a very strong position, I feel like, in this race. We're going to hit on the hard tyres and just hope for the best really. So here we go into the pit box. Oh wow, okay, nice. We've actually jumped Kvyat. That worked out better than I expected. So there we go, we're ahead of Kvyat again, currently P13.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I'm pretty sure because of the safety car, everyone ahead is going to have to stop again. So Hamilton, for example, who actually didn't stop under the safety car, still went for another set of soft tyres. So Interestingly, it seems like if my math is correct, Lando Norris is the de facto race leader here. So, yeah, that could be interesting. Right now, we are in a net P2 as things stand, I believe. Looks like we've got cars in the pit lane. George is in there. Of course, we've got Kvyat behind. And we're now top 10, so it's going to be interesting this race, you know, because I'm going to be a little bit more reluctant to let Kvyat go by, because obviously this is for, I believe, a net P2, so I don't really want to let him go. So let's see what we can do here. Half race distance achieved. Still a long way to go. Okay, we've got a few more cars in the pit lane. Pierre Gasly in there, Ricciardo as well. So we're going to move up into the top 7. And there we go. Gradually, people are starting to pit now. I'm trying to manage my fuel and ERS and kind of keep Kvyat behind at the crucial stages. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to try my best. The AlphaTauri, as you know, is an absolute rocket ship, so it's going to be a difficult one. More cars in the pit lane. Here we go then. Let's see how many of them actually pit. Looks like another 4 cars. And we're now up into the top 3 of this race. Only Albon left to pit. And then we're going to be in a net P2 in this race. And that just goes to show how a safety car can completely throw off a race. And there we go. Albon pits, the last of the cars to do so. I'm currently on for a personal best, so good pace for me that lap. I'm finding a sweet spot in terms of fuel to ERS ratio, in terms of usage. And it's working pretty well for me, so I'm able to keep things under control whilst also maintaining a good pace. We're pulling away from Stroll and Ocon still, so things are going pretty well. And we're keeping Kvyat at bay, which is great. Kvyat might get the run here. I'm going to have to use a bit of ERS just to try and maintain a bit of straight line speed. Feels like Kvyat's just starting to put the pressure on a little bit and, you know, just pick up his pace, because I'm having to use a bit more ERS now. You can see I'm dropping into the 50s. Lando still as consistent as ever out front though. Unless he retires, he's going to win this race quite comfortably. Feels like the AI have actually picked up their pace in this lap a little bit. Stroll and Ocon are starting to catch up a little bit more. Norris has really pulled away. And I'm only a 10th off my personal best, so nothing on my end. It's just the AI picking up their pace. Kvyat's a lot closer here. I might have to accept defeat on this one. I don't think it's going to work. You can see the straight line speed difference. I'm not even going to waste my ERS trying to defend, because I'd rather keep it. We might be able to come back at Kvyat later on maybe if we stick with him. Let's see. We're still in the podium, so let's focus on that. Let's try and get a gap to the cars behind and try and have Kvyat drag me along. Kvyat pushing quite hard here. He's trying to drop me out of the ERS range. Seems like he's draining his ERS to try and push. I'm able to stay within a second, but I don't really have much of a response to this pace from Daniel Kvyat. You can see he's still pulling away on the straight. I should be able to pull him back a little bit here to get DRS on the second straight, but he's really stretching me to the limit here. I've got to try and respond. Meanwhile, the faster guys are starting to come through. You can see Verstappen now up to P4 in the Red Bull. He's on his way through here. 7/10 up my personal best, and Kvyat has still managed to drop me out of the DRS range. I've got nothing. This is a good lap from me. I'm pushing as hard as I can, but Kvyat is on another level in terms of pace right now. Anyway, we're flying in terms of pace. We're catching Lando here as well. And Max now not too far behind as we set a new personal best into the low 28s, or the mid 28s actually. Verstappen 26.9, so that says a lot about the pace of the Red Bull. Oh, here comes Max. He's going to be a lot quicker than us. Will he go past now? I don't think he will. He's not close enough, even with the RS, so we can hold on for a bit longer. But it's not going to last very long. To be fair, I might tactically let him through. I feel like it's going to be more convenient for me to have DRS in the pit straight than it is for him. So we'll let him go here. I'm going to keep it in lead mix. Let him just go for it here. And that way we lose no time pretty much. We'll hopefully recover it all back on the pit straight. And we'll get DRS of the first 2 DRS zones here, which is important for me. Right, here we go. Let's just try and finish the race in our high position. P4 is the target. Let's see if we can make it happen. Hopefully Verstappen can battle with Kvyat and Lando. Maybe bring them more our way. But Kvyat is on it, man. He is pulling in Lando quickly, and I think Kvyat could win this race. But let's see, let's try and stick with Verstappen as long as we can. I'm going to try and use a bit of ERS to try and do so. And just like that, we're already out of DRS range, even though I've used a lot of ERS this lap, and I'm going to set another personal best. It's nowhere near enough. So yeah, we've done our bit now. 5 laps to go. We've got to try and keep the gap to Ocon and Stroll as long as we can, and just hope that these 3 up ahead come to a bit of a battle between the 3 of them, and it all kicks off. Feels like the AI just starting to turn up the pace again. It's their usual end of race kind of ERS drainage. So Ocon now getting within a second of me and getting pretty close. He's just using all of his DRS basically, so he's going to have DRS on me now. And he's dragging Stroll with him, and also it looks like Ricciardo as well. Okay, here we go, 2 laps to go. We're going to have to defend hard. That was actually a good exit. I think Ocon may have made a mistake there, or got dive bombed, I'm not sure. But we've got a bit of a gap all of a sudden. And look at that, they're 3 wide behind. This is great news for us. This is perfect in terms of me trying to, you know, pull away here. Ricciardo, Ocon going at it there with Lance Stroll. Let's try and use that to pull away. Looks like Ricciardo has made a double overtake stick. Alright, this is it then. Ricciardo is going to try it. Kvyat battling with Verstappen for the race lead. They've had a great exit out the final corner. This is good for me. This is going to be enough to stay ahead on the last lap of the race. 4 cars behind, Ricciardo, Ocon, Stroll and Albon. Oh my god, that's a big old lunge there from Daniel Ricciardo from absolutely miles away. I'm in trouble here though. He's right on my gearbox. We're going to have to defend the inside line. Into turn 4, down the inside we go. Can I hold on? Yes I can. Enough traction there to keep the car ahead. Tyres are starting to weigh. You can see in the bottom right we've got the orange indicator, which means about 60 to 65% tyre wear. We're going to have to hang on here this entire final lap. Surprisingly, I wasn't being challenged through there. Looks like we might just be okay. I've got enough fuel to hold on to this. Easy does it through here now. Going to just drain the battery out of this corner because this is one of the places that AI don't usually use their ERS. Looks like Ricciardo is though this time. It's going to be close, but we should just edge ahead. And there we go. Verstappen, fastest lap. P2, Kvyat wins the race out the final corner. Can we hang on? I think we can. Yes, P4. Yes.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well-deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. AlphaTauri are your winners here today.
Well then, there we go. Already race number 2 of the season, and we have a shock winner. Danny Kvyat for the AlphaTauri team picking up the win here today ahead of Max Verstappen. He managed to hold off the Dutchman as Verstappen did get the fastest lap, but crucially Kvyat held on. And I said it before, but the AlphaTauri is so fast on the straight in this game. It's by far the quickest car. It has something about it that just makes it so fast compared to everybody else, and I think that's why Kvyat managed to hold on. To be fair, actually I think Verstappen got ahead, but Kvyat fought back, which is even more impressive. Lando Norris though, P3 from McLaren, great podium for them. We finished in P4, really strong points and much better than I expected in this race. Ricciardo, Ocon, P5, P6 for both Alpine, Renault cars. Then we've got Lance Stroll for the Racing Point Aston Martin team in P7. Then it's Albon, Sainz and Perez rounding out the top 10. Hamilton misses out on points along with Gasly, Giovinazzi, Vettel, Grosjean, Matsushita, Russell, Magnussen, and then Bottas and Leclerc out of the race here today. We look at the driver standings, and after 2 races we are currently in 6th place. Verstappen leads the way, and with that race win Kvyat moves up into the top 3. We then look at the constructor standings, and we are currently in 6th place. We lose out to Renault, Alpine, as Red Bull take the lead over Mercedes and McLaren and AlphaTauri up into the top 3 and top 4 respectively. So there you go. There's your results, and a pretty crazy race here in Bahrain. It kind of was a bit boring, then towards the end it really spiced up, and I really enjoyed it. But the next race is Vietnam, and that's one that I'm hoping we can score some strong points at. Either way, guys, that is it for the race here at Bahrain. We're now going to move back into the main menu.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Pretty much using, I think, the safety car as, you know, a way for us to get up the field. To be fair, the car was pretty good. The balance was great, much better than last year, for example. I feel like The aero worked really well around here.
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
Well, I think similar to last season, I just think as a team, you know, we were underestimated.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well then, after the race, as you can see, with our brand new rival, Alex Albon, we're currently 3 points apiece this weekend, and he has a 1 point lead heading into the next round at Vietnam. We then look at the driver acclaim, and after that race, we do go up to level 12, which is great. So gradually making that progress, which is really cool. Okay, here we are then back in the main menu. Now you can see on the left hand side we have both of the upgrades planned to arrive on the 28th. We're going to get some more resource points on the 30th before the next race. I am going to skip the invitational, but just because of time constraints. I just don't have the time for it right now, and I need to wrap this up. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and jump into the R&D tree. Now we're going to go and buy another upgrade. Now we've done some aero work. I'm going to keep that going though, and you know, we're going to work on that over the next couple of races. I am going to just quickly add on a chassis upgrade just to kind of keep things, you know, on pace in this part of the car as well, which I feel is quite important. Now, looking at the options, I'm going to go for this one here, which is for the roll dampers for the tyre wear. It's going to unlock, you know, the next kind of major upgrade on the chassis, which we need to have. You know, we need those major upgrades. So we're going to go ahead, and I am tempted to rush it, you know, before Vietnam. I feel like I might take a risk with this one and see if we get lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and rush it and hope that arrives. So with that said, we've now got 3 upgrades on the way before the next race. So let's see if they all arrive. Well, I can confirm it's great news. The upgrades have all arrived. So the 2 aerodynamic upgrades and the chassis one that we rushed have all arrived. We just got an extra batch of resource points on the 30th. So instead of skipping all the way to the 2nd and wasting, you know, a couple of valuable days, we're going to go ahead and buy yet another upgrade. So you can see in the bottom right, we're now ahead of Alfa Romeo, and you can see in the tree, all the upgrades have arrived, which is really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and add one more chassis upgrade into the mix. This one is for the weight redistribution. So we're going to go ahead, get that on before the Chinese Grand Prix, and hopefully we'll try and squeeze one more upgrade on in the next episode once the Vietnam Grand Prix has come and gone. So you can see in the bottom right, making progress and upgrades in full effect, which is really, really good. So guys, that's going to be it from me here today. The next race, of course, round 3 at Vietnam. Hopefully guys tune in for that one. If you enjoyed this episode, then feel free to slap a like on it. Subscribe for more daily F1 content, guys, and also notifications turned on, of course, to not miss out on those uploads. And as always, thank you to the members of the channel for supporting. I really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, check out the 2 videos on screen, and hopefully you guys give them a chance and enjoy them. But I'll see you next time for Vietnam. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.